Former Republican US Senator and presidential candidate Bob Dole has died at the age of 98. The former US Senator and presidential candidate Bob Dole has died aged 98. The Elizabeth Dole Foundation announced that he'd passed away in his sleep early this morning. He was the Republican Party's longest-serving Senate leader until Mitch McConnell surpassed his record in 2018. Our North America correspondent Peter Bowes told us more from Los Angeles.
He was certainly a stalwart of the Republican Party, of American politics over many decades, 35 years representing the state of Kansas in both the House of Representatives and in the Senate, where he was his party's leader on two occasions, especially during that crucial period in American politics in the 1980s when Ronald Reagan was the president and they worked closely together. Bob Dole himself had presidential aspirations. In fact, he stood as the running mate for Gerald Ford in 1976, and then some 20 years later was selected by the Republicans to stand against Bill Clinton. Now, that was not a successful campaign for Bob Dole, and shortly after that he retired from politics, but he certainly remained a key figure in his party. He was a fiscally conservative in terms of financial matters. He was very stalwart in terms of his beliefs, and he was a stoic figure. I think it's fair to say that about him as well, especially as far as his own disabilities were concerned. Very badly injured in the Second World War, and he was a key figure in getting the 1990 Americans with Disabilities Act passed. That's a law that safeguards people in the workplace with disabilities. He'll be remembered for that, and I think he'll also be remembered for his personality. He had quite a great sense of humour and a wit about him, self-deprecating oftentimes. In 2018, quite recently, he was awarded the Congressional Gold Medal, and at the ceremony he thanked those who'd offered him kind words. He said they probably weren't true, but they were nice.
What influence did he have on the party more recently?
Well, I think his influence on the party was enduring, and I think certainly in recent years we know that he'd had serious health problems and he'd stepped back from frontline politics. But he was, I think, an influence perhaps more behind the scenes, and especially during the Trump era, than he was in terms of the front line. But I think that influence as a steady hand in his party, as I say, fiscally conservative and being quite pragmatic about many of the issues that he felt strongly with, was something that stayed with him and influenced many of his younger colleagues.